What is up, people of YouTube? I am back and I'm doing another video on E3. I'm gonna start going through all the conferences that were held, and I'm gonna start with EA, seeing as theirs is always a bit boring with all of the talk about the sporting games, and then there's the Battlefield 1 and the usual games that come out from them. So let's get straight into it. They started the conference with like a drumming band, which went straight into Madden 18, which has a story following the trend that's going on with sporting games and having stories now. Still won't get me interested in them, but I'm sure there's some people out there that like it. They went straight on to Battlefield 1, where they were talking about DLC that's coming out and how many people play it and all that kind of stuff. But there is one coming out. There is a DLC coming out called In the Name of the Tsar, where you fight in Russia. I think you're a Russian army fighting back against Germany. It did look interesting, but I've not played Battlefield 1 yet. I know that's not good on my behalf, but I'll get to it one day. Probably get the full package if it ever comes out like that, with all the DLC. I don't know if Battlefield do that or not, but I think they do. I don't know. Then they were having they showed a video about the competitive scene for FIFA and other EA games that they run, and showed you who wins. I don't know what it was all about, but then they went into the FIFA 18, which is following the story from FIFA 17. So if you haven't played FIFA 17 and you want to know what's going on in FIFA 18, you have to play FIFA 17, which I thought was a bit shady, making people having to go back and play the 17 to find out what goes on. But I'm guessing most people that want to play FIFA 18 story mode played FIFA 17, so yeah, that don't bother me. Then there was a YouTuber, I think. He went from EA, I can tell you that much. And he introduced Need for Speed for some reason. I don't even think he knew what was going on, because it was pretty awkward. And then they showed some gameplay for it, which I thought looked alright. I will not be getting Need for Speed Payback because I'm not that big into racing games, but it did look good, I'll give them that much. And then came an indie game, which EA have been showing off at least one in a conference for the last couple of years, and it comes from the developers of A Tale of Two Brothers, and it was A Way Out, where two people are in prison. They break out. One wants revenge, the other one wants to see his family or something like that. And I'm not kidding, this game looked interesting, apart from the fact that it is co-op only, and I'm not sure I'll have anyone to play it with, because most of my friends are like big AAA players only. So I'll see if anyone wants to play it with us, but I won't get my hopes up. And then came the first look at BioWare's new game, Anthem, which looked alright. but it only was like a 10-second clip, and they showed the rest in Microsoft's press conference, which I'll get into more on Anthem in that. Then was NBA Live talks and a little bit of gameplay where they kept pausing it and doing it in slow motion, and I don't think anyone cares about NBA Live. I'm not sure, but it didn't interest me whatsoever like the other ones did this year. And then came the Star Wars Battlefront 2 talks, where the main actress from the story came out, introduced it, talked about it a bit, and they said how the game was 3 times bigger than the original Battlefront. Like, that's a good thing, because there was not that much in Star Wars Battlefront 1, which is why I've not played it, and I'm not going to play it, because it was online only, and I'm not an online person. This one, I'm probably still not going to get at release, because they focus way too heavily on multiplayer. They showed a 30-minute multiplayer battle, which, to be honest, looked better than the first one, and it was in multiple stages. And yeah, people who enjoyed the first one probably enjoy this one, and people who just wanted a story or something like that, they've got it. I didn't really rate EA's press conference all that well, because, well, the one decent game that was there, Anthem, is being showed at Microsoft. I don't know whether there'll be gameplay or not, but I guess we'll see. That was the game of the conference for me, even though they only showed a 10-second clip, sorry. And that was EA's press conference. Not the best, but it was better than the last couple of years where you were just falling asleep through it. Let us know in the comments which EA game you enjoyed most at the conference, and if you're going to pick any of them up. I will talk to you down in the comments. If you have any questions that you want to ask me, put them down, and I might do a Q&A, or I might just answer them down there. But until the next video, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you soon.